Oh, yeah. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Rachel.
Justin, did you need something?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, maybe I'll show it to them.
Okay.
That paper you handed
Yeah, we've seen it.
to Steve.
Oh,
I'm not done reading it yet.
No, I see it once.
Yeah.
Mike.
Oh, okay.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, guys. Read minutes from last month's meeting. I'll approve the minutes. Anyone wants to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to accept last month's minutes. Second.
All in favor? Okay. Go ahead, Justin.
Can we start somewhere else while I look at it?
Okay.
yeah, you're on, buddy.
I can go. Says I'm good. Bear with me. Gotta find it. All right. Got a lot to cover. Heavy trash, all done. CCMG is slated to start June 18th. I got a pre-construction meeting on Monday morning. That'll determine how they plan on starting and how the process will go. I'm imagining that at some point, Keller Street will be completely closed for the duration of the job, but I don't have all that information yet. So,
That's in 2030 we're talking about.
No.
alley work, we're gonna do one more round of chip and seal. There's a few alleys that still need another coat. And then beginning next year, we will start with an emulsion on top of that, like what we did on Polk Street. The emulsion's actually designed to go along with the chip seal, makes it flexible and gives it a hard surface. So that'll start next year after this last round is done. Mulch, we got fresh mulch back at the compost site. If anybody wants any, let us know. We'd be happy to load. We'll make arrangements to drop off whatever. There's a lot of it. Moving into a little bit of new business. We've been having issues with the water tower and communications to the water plant for quite some time. Every time it rains, for some reason, it goes in and out. I've met with Wessler. We're looking at adding redundancy on that through cell signal. Since the cell tower we'll have to pay for that service on a monthly basis, we will make that the primary and leave the antenna as the secondary, but the alarming will be set up to notify us if they both fail. It was so frequent that I turned the alarm off to my phone. It was calling so often. So the price for that's going to be around $7,000 for all the programming parts and installation. The electrical portion of it is already completed. That was done the other day.
Is there an annual fee on that?
No, it's gonna be a monthly fee, probably. I don't really know that, it's cell-based, so it's either gonna have a monthly bill or an annual bill. I don't know.
We don't know what that looks like yet.
Not yet. I should have something next week. We got one sewer pump down at the East Lift Station. It was less than half the cost of a new one to repair, so it is getting repaired. I hope to have that back in 5 weeks, hopefully. I don't have a set time. The order was 4 weeks lead time. I met with the company today to do sewer inspections. We kind of got a game plan as to how we're going to start looking at sewers and laterals to see if there's any tie-ins that we're not aware of. Everything has been cambered already once, and we didn't notice any illegal tie-ins on the main line, but we didn't actually inspect the laterals to see if it was a legitimate tie-in. So by starting to inspect the laterals, we will get some answers. The biggest issue that we're having is along the west end of town. So we'll be starting out on the west end of town first and see what we can find. I don't want to jump into this real fast. We're going to do a little bit at a time, see how much we can get done in a day, and try to make a better game plan and come back with a proposal to do more than just a day's worth of work, I should say. So, the Maumee River Basin Commission, Rob Rinkenberger reached out to me. As you were notified in an email, there is a grant available through FEMA that we're eligible for. The weird part about the FEMA grants was that you have to request permission to apply before you can apply. So we had the money budgeted. The match was going to be $5,000 from us. It was a 25% overall. The county has a percentage in there. But after the application was done, he regionalized the application, and he didn't realize that Washington Township was part of the Town of Monroe. So by entering that, it dropped our median household income, and we fell into the range of being eligible for only a 10% match. And so that $5,000 may be all that is required to pay it all. I don't know the gist of it yet, the ins and outs. We'll be advertising in the paper with a public notice, letting the community know that we are going after the funds. The funds will be used strictly to do the entire stormwater study that they're working on, Christopher Burke. That will give us a master plan and an avenue to travel for the improvement process to begin. So there'll be more to come on that as I get information. I'll try and remember to pass it along and email you guys and keep you up to date.
How much was the grant that we could get? How much did we apply for?
Well, I don't remember the total cost that was owed. I did see a number of $91,000 in that, but I don't know that that was all of it. I think it could be over 100,000. The 25% MRBC was going to pay 25,000 roughly. There was a couple $1,000 that was on the county, and 4,000 to 5,000 that would have come to us. So I met with him, had a good talk. He's never seen an approval come back as fast as this one. It was like 30 minutes. From the time he sent it to the time he got the approval, 30 minutes. So he was pretty excited about that, considering He said FEMA must see the need and realize it is a good project to have. So cross your fingers and hopefully something will come of this. Next up, I've got some stuff on here about roadway annexation. I got a paper or two that needs signed. If I got it with me. Yes. So if you recall, last year we agreed and had an agreement with the county to annex in a portion of South Van Buren Street between the town limits and the bus garage. But whenever it comes to doing CCMG work on that, we could only do half of it if we didn't have rights to the other half. So part of being able to turn this in as our roadway asset is to get a document signed for ownership, and then it will go along with the roadway annexation ordinance that Clayton's prepared and a couple other documents that I have back in my office. It just needs a signature.
We need to have a motion on this.
No, wait, what is it?
That's nothing, right?
No, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I would motion to approve that.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion for this.
To approve, it's to approve of the certification of maintenance of that roadway by the town of Monroe.
I'll make a motion. Second. All in favor? Aye.
I'm looking at a couple other roadways too, and making sure that what you show is correct and making sure that right of ways are where they need to be. I just haven't heard back from the person that's helping me with it. And the truck, the white Dodge that we bought, I don't know, back in 2015 maybe. It's probably seen its better days. We've been having a lot of problems with it. Current mileage is 255,000. It has been acting up quite a bit. I've reached out to Ford, Chevy, and Dodge and got quotes for a new truck to replace that one. The low bid was Motors out of Vernon, $53,807 for 2026 F-150. I've been looking into used vehicles as well. There was nothing that I could find that could justify buying used. We bought the Dodge used.
That was an F-150?
Correct.
Okay.
We bought the Dodge used when we got it, and it's been a good truck. The radio don't work, the hands-free calling doesn't work. We've had engine problems with it, which the engine problems have been fixed for now. We just had it back in the shop last week for some stuff. It went in, it came out, and it went back in a day later. Part of the problem that we're seeing, or what I'm being told, is not really that a lot of it's parts related. So they get parts in and they not get parts, they fail, and so you're right back to tearing them out. So the parts free, the labor is not.
Where were you having fixed on that? Just curious.
What's that?
What were you having done?
I couldn't tell you everything we had done.
Where was it done at?
Oh, Heiser. Mike Heiser works on all of our stuff except for the F-250. until that's out of warranty, and then I'll probably take it to him too. He does all of our oil changes and services. He's certified to do any warranty work that comes along, or he's always treated the town really well.
Quick estimate, fiscal year, how much have you spent on that Dodge? For me,
We spent $7,000 last year, I think. So 2011. Does that sound about right, Rachel? Ballpark? We can't, I mean, I've been told by boards in the past, make it last or run it into the ground, but this one's in the ground. And we got the funds to cover the cost of a new truck.
You know what transmission's in that 26 F-150? The reason I'm asking is we're having a bunch of issues with the 10 speeds. So like whenever they're out of warranty right now, you're looking about 10 grand for replacement.
I'd have to ask. I don't think it's a 10-speed, but oh yeah, it's a 10-speed auto. And it's still, I mean, I can still work on this, but
Okay.
I was more concerned with the engine, and I did ask, and I was told the engine was good. He said if it was I think the Chevys are having really bad problems with the engines blowing up. So,
Yeah.
no,
how many miles you putting on that a year?
about 15 to 20.
Okay. You know, I'd like to table it. Honestly, I'd like to have you maybe crunch some more numbers. And I'd like to know what the repairs were on the truck. Just curious. So that way we can see. I don't know. I don't like the idea of buying a new truck just to make it Carthen's take-home vehicle.
I'm taking the new.
You are taking it.
I'm taking the new one.
What year is the one you're driving now?
22.
What's the mileage on that one?
60.
And the annual maintenance fees on that?
Oil changes. I think we did the brakes. Said tires were done in 2 years. That was from the factory. That's really all I got. There's an issue right now with the cluster controls on the left side of the steering wheel. That's a couple $100, they said. Nothing major.
That should still be under the powertrain.
And that's what I don't know. I just called and I've had issues with it for a little while, and they said they couldn't find nothing wrong, and it keeps acting up, so.
I mean, to me personally, I would feel more comfortable if we talk about it more.
Justin, if you could, since we are gonna table it, I'd like to see the actual numbers from the maintenance for the last fiscal year for both vehicles. And then I would like to see the capital line budget for the replacement.
There's not been a capital line budget started for that because we just had to start doing capital asset recording.
We didn't add the truck. I feel like we added the truck.
Yeah, the truck's been in there, but there's not been any discussion as to how often they want to replace the truck. Like right now, we're driving a 15-year-old truck with 255,000 miles. That, quite frankly, in my opinion, isn't safe to be running up and down the highway for meetings. But we tried to find used trucks the last time we looked for trucks, and a 2-year-old truck with 25,000 miles was more than we could buy a new one for.
Really? Gosh. Hard to believe.
the exact same build.
Seems to me there's a general rule, but I will look into
I'd
that.
like to see the line item. I'd like to see the money.
I think it's 10 years, Rachel.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, but, I mean, as far as moving forward, are we gonna approve the low bid and then discuss it later, or are we gonna
No, right now,
restart?
we're just gonna table that for right now. We want to discuss this.
The reason why I'm asking about the truck repairs, I'd like to know if the cam has been done yet.
The what?
The cam shaft, those are notorious for being junk.
And the Dodge? Well, Mike just went through and did all kinds of stuff that had never been worked on before, and it was all engine related like that.
Because if that hasn't been done before, we'll probably look at another $2 or $3 grand just to repair for the cam. So I was just wondering if it's been done before.
But, I mean, we can talk, I don't understand why you're worried about what we could be if you're gonna table a truck.
Well, what I'm saying though is if you just put $7,000 worth of repair in it and that cam's been done, we should see quite a bit of time left on that engine. But if not, that engine can blow pretty quick.
The other thing we got, well, so the other thing that just got done was the throttle body. The throttle body went out and he replaced it, and then it went out again. And so we went up to Fort Wayne to Chrysler and got one and put it in. And he said he sees more bad parts coming through than he sees anything, and it's across the board.
That is definitely gross.
So, okay.
Justin, did you get quotes?
Yeah,
You got it, okay. So,
Yeah.
okay.
that was the low quote.
Okay.
Yeah, because so when we got the last truck, when we got the F-250, I called the quote from Kelly's, and they said that the price is going to be the price no matter what dealership you go through on everything you purchase. So I quoted the Dodge and the Chevy this time through Kelly's, and I went back to Mosier's for the Ford. Sewer rates. So I don't know, did you guys,
On that, let's talk offline about that too, this quote.
what's that?
Well, just after the meeting or here in the coming week, you and I can talk about the quotes.
Oh, okay. Did you guys read the portion about the sewer rates? So, what are your thoughts?
I mean, you're talking about as far as going up 3%?
Well, yeah, based on last month's Baker Tilly email that I got back from them regarding the rates, and then what they sent for this month's meeting, because I did have some questions and concerns, and we've got 8,000 to 10,000 going out on a pump repair. We've got sewer inspections to do. We've got force main work still to be done. That's just the tip of the iceberg, I feel. And so that's why my suggestion would be, if we're gonna have all this coming up, that's a big dip into reserve fund, and the other fund is there for operations and maintenance.
So according to your email, you made it sound like we're on the right track. To stay on the right track is to go to that 2 or that 3%, correct?
I think so. I mean, we don't want to get behind, and with what we've got ahead of us, I don't know that, like, they were saying that we were good if we didn't have other expenditures that are going to be costly. Camera work's not going to be cheap. I mean, I quoted it out initially they said 60 hours to do an entire, it was like 70 some houses. And it was $16,000, almost $17,000. So I decided that rather than go that route, I would bring them in and see what we can do in a day. And then that would give us a good idea as to how much can be accomplished. This first round, with some of the runs that we're gonna start with, there's not a whole lot to look at, because there's not a lot of tie-ons on a few of these runs. But on these other ones, like where you get an entire house, an entire line with houses on both sides, it's gonna take a lot more time. So right now, I'm just trying to eliminate some areas that aren't supposed to have more than a couple tie-ins and weed those out before we really dive into the nitty-gritty of every main where it's either in the front or in the back. You're gonna like one side. So we're looking at Hackages Edition. Clover Lane, the north side of Clover Lane is in the rear, and it has tie-ins on both sides. But in the south side is in the rear and tie-in on both sides. But on the south side of Harvest Lane, the tie-ins, the ladders in the front, and there's only like 4 tie-ins. So it's just trying to figure out where we can do the most, inspect the most line work for a day's worth of, I mean, it's $27.50 for a day of camera work only. If you've got to get in here and clean the line so they can get down the line, then you're looking at about the same rate for a truck too. So you're looking anywhere from 27 to 105 grand a day for cleaning camera. Based on what I've seen out there in some of the manholes, and I'm going to open a couple of the manholes up where I know I've seen debris build in the manholes and see how bad it looks. If I've got to get a truck in here to clean prior to, then I can do that. And that will go, we can do that faster, just picking it apart, than if we was to bring a truck in and have a whole day's rate on it. Maybe we only have 4 hours on it, it's $1,500 or something, something. But just trying to manage the money a little better than just throwing $16,000 at it and then not be able to do anything because it needs cleaned, and that's extra.
Now, if we do find somebody who's illegally tied in, we do have ordinances behind that too, I believe.
Yeah, there's the ordinance states that some pumps are not to be in the sewers. So we did door to door back before we did the sewer project. Everybody removed sump pumps and pulled downspouts unless they could prove the downspouts did not go to the sewer. So what hasn't been seen is anything in the ground before or outside of the house. So you camera somebody's lateral to make sure that there's no tie-ins on the outside. Maybe the downspouts are tied in and they're still collecting water, but the downspouts not in the ground. So that's kind of that's the stuff we're looking at because of the infiltration that we're seeing in our lift station.
The increase that Byrne is going to be putting on us for sewage, and that should be happening soon.
Why are we going to see an increase from Byrne?
That's what they passed.
We're not going to see an increase.
Byrne just passed that our sewage rates would go up.
Based
for
on
Monroe.
our sewer rates are based on their treatment.
That's what they passed.
I didn't see the paper.
So that's coming down the pipeline. It's been reported they're going to raise the Monroe wastewater. I think the 3% is good. I'm fearful of how much is Byrne going to increase this.
I can do some digging because I don't know, we're on a 20-year or a 30-year contract with them. And our rates are only supposed to go up based on
They
treatment.
just reported it
From what I was told.
last week.
I think it was 140 to 160, what it went up.
Yeah.
For like $1.40
Yes.
per
And
$1,000.
just specifically Monroe, that's what was reported.
Glen Grove went up too, they
Yeah.
raised there too.
You say we're on 20 to 30 year.
20 or 30 years, I think.
I
Do you have
think
it?
that's different. We have a lagoon payment that we pay for a 20-year period.
No, I was thinking it was
Then we get a monthly bill from them for the treatment of the water.
something we need to look into. Because it was reported, it was in the newspaper. And
I haven't been getting them. I used to get the Byrne paper and I haven't been getting it. So.
I'm just
I paid for that, by the way.
a little 3%, I don't know.
Well, so they're going up, they're up to 20 cents per gallon, right?
Like for 1,000 gallons.
per thousand
Yeah.
gallons, 20 cents per thousand. So that would, I mean, I know we're putting 1 million gallons down in a month, so. You said 160?
Yeah.
My math is right.
Memory serves, so
What's our payment usually, Rachel?
The 20-year payment?
No, the,
Between 7 and 8,000.
for the treatment portion of it?
Uh-huh.
I need to look at the contract again and see how it's worded.
Send it to me too.
Yeah, I didn't see it, because I used to get the paper and something happened, and it'll be coming again, so get to keep up. But I was always under the impression that we were contracting only. But if their treatment costs went up, then that's where that cost is gonna come from on their rate increase, so. So table this till next month and I'll find out
We have 2 pumps at that station, right?
in that lift station
Yeah.
that goes to burn. Yeah, there's 2 pumps in every lift station,
And one of them just needs rebuilt, correct?
but that's in the east lift station.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the shop. It's been there for a few weeks. So, yeah, if they're gonna do 3%, then our 3% would only break even. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's worth looking into, because it was in the news.
Okay. And then, so to touch base on the stormwater stuff going on, stormwater, the cul-de-sac at Clover Lane gets severely inundated with water when it rains. We pump for like a day or so with a 2-inch trash pump, trying to pump it down. It fills the whole intersection up, or the cul-de-sac, it goes over your boots. The water gets that deep. We thought that the tile that we replaced, which it was plugged, replaced through the guy's house yard on Andrew Street, was draining that. Well, the first time it rained after we replaced that tile, it didn't back up, and so I thought we had it. Well, the next time it rained, it filled completely up again. So we pumped it back down and brought a camera crew in, looked at all the tiles running out of there, found an old print of that cul-de-sac. The tiles that were put in are 6-inch tiles. They're half the size they should be to drain that. Minimum is 12-inch anymore. And it goes, somehow it makes its way around the cul-de-sac and runs up each side of the road to Meridian and ties into something in Meridian, but I don't know what it ties into because there's no way to get a camera in that tile either to see. There's nothing on the west side of Meridian, but there is something on the east side. There's just no way to access it. So what's going to have to happen there is we're going to have to replace, drop a new tile. I would recommend right down the middle of the road. There shouldn't be anything there because the utilities are all out back. And tie in at Meridian and put a new tile in Meridian down the middle of the road. We've got a tile that runs out to the or to the detention pond that was put in between where Ricky Auschman's house is and then the cul-de-sac at South Street, right down the property line back there. So if we could tie in there and run it out, but that's about the only feasible way I see to fix the problem. It won't be cheap because they're ripping out all the asphalt. And, the hopes is to maybe be able to include that into the CCMP grant for next year is what I'm hoping. And until then, we'll just have to monitor it and try and keep it called up whenever issues arise. So, other than that is all I got.
Okay. Okay, fire department.
Okay, first thing is you all are invited to what's called a Fire Ops 101. Last year was the first time for this. Local city, town, and like county council members are all invited. It's just a one-day event. It's held down in Portland, but it's held by the Adams County fire chiefs and fire instructors. And just a little bit of a thing to show you what we do every day or on a daily or weekly basis. Get to work like in the back of an ambulance while coming down the road. Get to go into the flashover chamber with full gear on. Do some fire attack stuff. So if anybody's interested in that, it'll be in September 26th. It's Saturday. Excuse me, I'll get you more information if you're interested. The second thing is ordinance number 2024-12 was created for the Knox Box. The Knox Box program that we started. And the short title says that creating requirements for all new commercial and industrial buildings constructed within the jurisdiction limits of the town of Monroe. So I read that as new constructed buildings, but what about new businesses that occupy a building that's already there? Should we be requiring them or asking them to put Knox Box in if it's a new building and going into an existing building or a new business?
At the time that I can get you a better concrete answer after like tomorrow, once I read through it. To my recollection, I think it was just new construction specifically.
Yeah.
But I mean, that would be a board decision if we want to amend it to where it's new business in general or new commercial tenant upon their entrance. So current ones obviously being grandfathered in, and then anybody new, I mean, that'd be a board decision. I think at the time when I introduced that to the board in 2024, they were only interested in new construction, and they weren't interested in having individuals that are in an older building take the steps to have it installed.
Correct. Yeah. Which is, I mean, the steps are just literally putting blocks on the outside of the building.
Right.
Registering. So it's not a whole lot of work, but like there's new restaurant stuff coming in, and we just don't have access to that. So maybe something to think about. But I'll let you all decide that. That's short of the deal. And then, of course, the last thing I have is what we had talked about a couple months ago with the clothing allowance thing.
I haven't had a chance to look at that statute yet, so I will have that next month. So I'm going to review that, and then I'll have a recommendation, and I'll have the revised contract if that's what the statute says. So apologies for
you got a number and everything to look at.
I don't have that, so if you can shoot me that, even just in an email, that'd be great.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that. Thank you.
How you guys feel about
So,
How you feel about the non-stop?
I personally think it'd be for your, I think if you buy it, and you didn't have it, you should be required to upgrade it.
I mean, especially with the restaurant going
It's
in.
no different than code.
Yeah, I would agree.
If you do anything with your building, you gotta bring it up to code, so.
We'll probably,
Yeah.
next month's meeting.
Do you want me to bring it back, an amended version?
Yeah, see if we can update that. Town marshal's not here, so, okay. Clerk treasurer.
Well, it's that time of year. Garage sales have been hit up here, so, second weekend of June is usually when it's done. June 11th, 12th, and 13th. You guys good with that? Okay.
Didn't we set up last year that it was gonna be the same time, or was it, I think?
We might.
People have been communicating on the book of the face, second weekend of June, so yes, we probably should.
Look at the face.
Yeah.
I sent you guys an email just a little bit ago in regards to the stormwater study. If you guys would just review that email, please.
We waiting for Mike?
Yeah.
Perfect. Did you guys move all the tables back?
No, I came in here early to meet with Justin, and did you?
Thank you.
That was nice of you. Did you clean them off too?
Somebody else had that thing over there. Did you have anything for the stormwater?
I wasn't able to print everything out, so I just mentioned that I just emailed them the quote that they haven't seen.
Because how many truckloads of trash did you get every trip?
Too many?
He had 16 one time last year, I think.
Oh, we probably had that many. Okay. Two or three trailer loads of couches and mattresses.
Oh, really? Transportation got 275 from the cater mattresses last year one time. 275 mattresses. Jeez. Heavy trash in the cater.
Okay, so a version of this ordinance had previously been introduced in 2025, and some revisions have been made to it. So this would be introduction of, what would the next ordinance number be? Two. 2026-2, short title, an ordinance prohibiting the open burning of trash and solid waste within the town limits of Monroe, Indiana. I've sent you all copies of the updated version being introduced. I mean, generally, it's prohibition on open burning of trash and solid waste within the town limits of Monroe. It does have section 3, which is exceptions and permitted activities, which would include, some of the exceptions of, authorized fire department activities, if someone has certain permitting, emergency situations, and then obviously exempt materials, being clean wood for recreational fires, or agricultural waste under conditions permitted by Indiana Code and IN rules. However, if it's in that case, then there's further requirements imposed by IDEM, etc. For now, obviously, it's just the introduction, and then I know you have all reviewed it. Do you guys have any questions for me? Then at this point, I would just request a motion to accept the introduction, and then thereafter, I'll make sure to work with Rachel to get it advertised for, and we'll have a public hearing on it at the beginning of next month's meeting.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for this.
I'll make a motion to introduce 2026-2.
Second.
All in favor? Okay.
Clayton, what might the penalty be on that? $100 or 200?
The violation.
Yes, I do. That's generally, we'll have to, during the adoption period, we'll have to, the board on the record will have to choose, the language of the ordinance sets it at a penalty of no less than $100 and no more than $1,000.
I got a question on all that too. It said in there about getting permits from the town to burn. And so who's gonna enforce the no burning And isn't it just easier to say no burning, like the burn barrels? We're just gonna get rid of the burn barrels and then nobody will be as inclined to burn their trash? If you just say there is no more, if you're not having a fire, a campfire, you know, that's the only thing you can do is there a way to do that? Because Dad used to dump them things and they are not light. And so we just started telling people, if you want your burn barrel done, we're throwing it away. You'll have to get a new one. But you find, I mean, I dumped one, I threw one away this year that was full of water. I mean, trash, everything, really about everything except for burnt stuff. And so if they're being used for all that, then why not just eliminate that and be done? Isn't that easier?
I mean, we can, it's your decision. I mean, I can, if you guys would prefer to do that, obviously we can rescind the introduction and I can go back to the drawing board and hopefully bring you a different ordinance.
I'm sorry I brought it up after the fact.
No, it's fine. I mean, I think that if we pass it as no burning, it's probably gonna get
To some extent, it logically follows that if you're not allowed to burn trash, then you have no need for a burn barrel.
That or they'll say they were gonna burn wood in it though. I mean, you're taking away my burn barrel that I was gonna make a campfire in so I could stay warm. And
We don't take them unless they ask us to take them, like, hey, come take my burn barrel. Okay. Whether they get a new one or not, I have no idea. Some people do, and some people don't. I don't know. I'm not in town in the evening, so I don't really know who burns trash anymore in town.
From a legal standpoint, I can't, off the face tell you whether or not we would even be able to get an ordinance, under like the Indiana Constitution that allows us to not allow burn barrels. Because the argument stands, is, for instance, what Dave just said, is somebody can have a barrel and they can say, all I'm going to burn in it is the approved wood for campfires. It's just what kind of a campfire I would have. Because then you get into like takings of personal property and then it might get a little hairy.
I filter my water from the rain through the burn barrel and I drink it. I mean, there's so many, seriously, that they can say. I mean, so I don't.
It was just a question that I posed to Clayton and he told me to bring it up. So.
I don't.
Who the hell does that?
You'd be surprised.
Okay, I've got a few more. This would be ordinance number 2026-3, which is short titled, an ordinance of the town council of the town of Monroe, Indiana, establishing local traffic regulations concerning through truck traffic and engine brake use on certain roadways within the town. You guys are all aware we have certain, we have an ordinance in existence already related to engine brakes. Instead of just amending and incorporating that, with this being separate streets, it just made sense because specifically that previous ordinance didn't have anything about no through trucks because those are heavily traveled truck routes and we can't really do that. This ordinance would regulate and restrict that there would be no through truck restrictions on, so West 50 South, which is commonly referred to as South Adams Street, North Van Buren Street, it would be South Adams Street from the western corporate limits of the town of Monroe eastward and then northward to Washington Street, North Van Buren Street from east 100 north southward to Washington Street, and South Van Buren Street from the southern corporate limits of the town of Monroe northward to Washington Street. As you all know, South Van Buren is 000. We've had communications with the county highway. 000 is actually a no-through truck route as it sits too. So it's just extending. Again, there shouldn't really be anybody coming down that way with trucks, which we know still happens. And then on those same routes, I've just incorporated all the engine brake because I believe that's what Justin and Rachel had been receiving complaints about was the engine brake on those routes.
Specifically South Van Buren.
Specifically South Van Buren. And again, I'd like to give this explanation that no through truck routes does not mean that if somebody needs to bring a truck into town for a reason in town, again, or if it's originating in town, that's okay. But if you're simply traveling through to another destination, goes with the phrase, no through trucks.
So basically, with that current speed right there on the edge, that's not gonna hinder their operations? That's a
Well,
little.
no, because then it's not a no through truck. It has so vehicles making a local delivery or pickup, providing services or accessing property located on or reasonably accessed by a restricted area. Emergency vehicles, vehicles obviously engaged in road construction, street maintenance, utility work, etc. So like snow plows, school buses, vehicles operating pursuant to a lawful detour. So if there is ever a detour that has to go through Monroe, then this doesn't apply.
That's kind of, sorry, but that's kind of how this got driven. One, there was a no through truck sign already posted across from the church on South Van Buren. And Nathan asked me if it had an ordinance behind it. And I don't think it does, but maybe that's something the county had put up years and years ago. But also he had complaints about engine braking coming into town. And I heard it this week for myself, starting at like the bus garage all the way into town.
Really?
So it happens.
So we can put up a sign out there with the engine brake?
There'll be signs posted. Yeah, there'll be signs posted, but yeah, all the way, I was like, what in the world?
It does obviously it comes down to enforcement a little bit too. Enforcement provisions of that. So Eric doesn't have to ask this time. Are $100 for first violation, $250 for second violation within 12 months, and $500 for each subsequent violation within 12 months, together with any court costs and attorney's fees, administrative fees, or amounts permitted by law. Again, for this one, I would just accept a motion for introduction, and with enforcement provisions, it will require a public hearing next month as well.
I'll entertain a motion for that.
Make a motion for 2026-3 traffic regulations.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, pass 3 of these. You got anything else for us? Clayton?
Last one would be 2026-4, which would be short titled an ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Monroe, Indiana, annexing certain real estate and permanent right-of-way area associated with South Van Buren Street into the corporate limits of the Town of Monroe. Justin kind of went over this. We previously, back in November 2024, got approval from the Board of Commissioners and then recorded a deed of permanent right-of-way for the eastern half of South Van Buren, near the southern, or outside of the southern limits. It's technically outside of the southern limits of the Town of Monroe because it's not annexed. This is an ordinance that would annex that half portion of roadway into the Town of Monroe, specifically as Justin was talking about, so that it can be claimed on the inventory. Today, I would be just asking for a motion to accept the introduction pursuant to the specific statutes related to annexing or annexation in Indiana. This also has to be set for public hearing, so we'll have 3 public hearings briefly next month. If you all move to approve the introduction, also between now and next month, I'll go before the commissioners because the easiest way is just for them to consent to that annexation.
Okay, I'll accept a motion for that.
I'll make a motion to accept 2026-4.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. 3 of us.
That is it for me this week or this month. I do plan, I had planned to bring a finalized version of the employee handbook this month, but I've received some, just in discussion with Justin and Rachel, I have a few more, a little bit more work to do on that, so I'll hopefully bring it next month.
Okay, let's see here. We got that sold right here, so.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate the time. I have 2 pieces of business and an invitation. First, the 2 pieces of business are a application, 2 applications actually. All right. And then the other one is an application for the state agency. for federal government surplus. Let you have a copy.
Okay, I sent you the letter. I don't know, did you see the application too?
No. It's all right.
The first on the letterhead is an application letter for the National Museum of the Air Force, okay? This is when I first came to you folks. This is the meat of what I'm asking you to do. Be the recipient and the sponsoring organization for a static display, okay? So through the National Museum of the Air Force, we would actually get an aircraft on loan to us, okay? And I think I briefed some of the strings that were attached to that. Now, the letter itself is somewhat specific in the things that had to be contained and addressed in it. So I prefer not to see too many changes to that letter if possible. Mike, it's something that should be signed by you when we submit it. I will put a package together that includes pictures of the site and renderings that hopefully I'll have available to you this next week. So there's no hurry, okay? But we do want to go ahead and proceed and get these things on file with the National Museum of the Air Force. And then the second one is for the federal government surplus program administered by the state of Indiana. And that's really a straightforward application. Basically, all the information is on the first 2 pages. We are a public agency that is applying for surplus equipment. And I think the signature block, Mike, for you would be on page 7, the last page of the application. There is on page 6 something I'm not familiar with. It's a certification signature for a non-discrimination assurance. And I am not familiar with that. Rachel, by any chance, have you had training or are you familiar?
A non-discrimination assurance?
Pardon?
A non-discrimination assurance?
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not sure who would be the signatory for that. Possibly you.
For the town, it depends on who the ADA people are.
It's technically the ADA officer, but you can also just have all 3 of the board members sign.
So I'll allow you folks to read that. Any questions, certainly make myself available for. But honestly, both the application letter for the museum and then for the federal government surplus are very straightforward. I don't think there's a whole lot of
It's
questions.
pretty easy to fill out.
Yeah, they were. Justin was a big help for me.
Mike, did you do this? The letter?
No.
Now, I did that specifically.
My name is misspelled.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Barb. Hey,
Yeah.
okay, we'll change that.
I'll get that fixed. David Barb. I can fix it now. Rachel, I'll email it to you and you can print it out.
My God.
Sorry. I didn't catch it either and I proofed it.
Is that on your letterhead?
Yeah.
Yeah, my name is actually Joshua.
Yeah. I'll do this.
I mean, if you want to get it.
Okay,
A lot better than Barb.
good catch.
Yeah.
All right, but those are the 2 applications. So I'll ask you folks to pursue them, and then if you can get them back to me once they're signed by the appropriate people, that would be great. I am going to deliver these in person. I would really like to take Justin along for the state government surplus program, and kind of that's a foot stopper.
that the government surplus program is how the museum told us that we'd have our best chance at getting a jet. So I want to establish a face-to-face contact with the individuals down there. I'll probably give them a presentation on what it is we're trying to achieve, and then we're going to stay informed with them. I mean, they're going to be our best friend in this whole process, I'm pretty sure. So, and it is important that we have a representative from the town that they're familiar with. Okay. The last thing I have is an invitation. We are going to have a fundraiser kickoff press conference on the 21st of May. It'll be at Adams Central in the main gymnasium on the south side, and it'll start at 11 a.m. I'd like to have representatives from several of the agencies that we're working with. I've got Steve Bailey back there. He's going to speak to being a veteran from an AC grad. We're going to have our financial chair, Cameron Collier, speak to what we're trying to achieve on our fundraising. We're going to have Connie Ma from the Adams County Community Foundation, and of course also Superintendent McClure will be speaking for the school. I'd really like to have a representative from the council that might be able to say a few words. We're keeping it short. I mean, these things, faster and funnier is how that goes. But Mike, if either yourself or one of your compatriots would like to be there.
May when?
May 21st, okay? And if you'll let me know who, I will go ahead and send you an agenda of how the whole thing's going to go down. So, but we're really looking forward to this. I'm starting to get excited about it. This is kind of an official kickoff. So we'll be spreading the word around town. I've got the donor brick program all set to go. We got flyers that we're going to be putting in different locations around town, and of course Indicator and other areas also. The website is up and running. I encourage you to go visit acveteransmemorial.com, and that has all set for different ways to donate, and also if you want to purchase one of the donor bricks. So we'll be pushing our website as a way of getting the word out.
That's AC Veterans?
It's acveteransmemorial.com.
Just to be doubly sure, you said the 21st of May?
21st of May.
Thursday.
Thursday, yes. I think it's going to be a nice lead-in story, hopefully, for Memorial Day.
Maybe look this over. Is there anything that,
I'm sorry, I started listening more, so I stopped reading I've looked over the letter. I'm, contingent on the typographical.
General Assembly.
Give me 1 second so I can read all
Not
these
really.
terms.
This will be a press release. These guys are all coming in. They got to go somewhere else. And, we're going to try to keep it to about 20 minutes.
Okay.
So anyone is invited to attend. I mean, you can sit in the, on the side. And,
I was just curious if they're doing it in front of the students or.
I doubt that.
I don't think so. I think we're just going to have it for the benefit of the press.
Gotcha.
And allow them to answer, or allow them to ask any questions at the end, or get any video of the site,
You're going to have Fort Wayne TV down also, probably?
I'm going to invite them. I'd like to get all
Yeah.
5 of them. So we'll see who shows up. No guarantees.
I'll be there, I'll be there.
Yeah, there'll be a press release that gives them a packet, even if they're not coming. They should be able to use the packet for their own meeting.
That's good, yeah.
So, okay. All right. Any other questions?
We're just getting that newly updated letterhead.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Let David Bart speak up there.
Yeah.
Dave, that was my fault.
It's all right.
I'm sorry.
I'm really sorry.
I don't know how many times that's gone out either. Because I've used
Don't forget
that
drive through 3 E's in Gurkha.
It's all right, David.
Please.
When I introduced an ordinance at the commissioners last week, there was an online article, and I was Clayton Gerber throughout. And they doubled it down. It was Gerber. You guys are going to approve these today, that's right.
I can just sign on.
For all of them. If you're not, if you guys want more time to review it, you would want to table it till next month, but if you want to approve it today. And I did just look over the terms and
Yeah, I mean, that's, I figured Brett would print more than you. Well, for that ADA stuff, they all have to sign.
Is that a different form?
Is that, that's the application and
You guys can pass that. Go up there. Well, Craig was borrowing. Oh, Rachel, you have this before I file it.
What's this?
Any comments from the public?
is that,
I don't know.
Go ahead, sir.
Just quickly, we've had this good discussion, and Clayton's aware, at the county commissioners meeting on Wednesday about fringe zoning. And there's an effort by Bern and Geneva to modify their fringe areas, which is the zoning outside of the city limits. But it's an area less than 2 miles outside of the city limits, but it's an area that Bern and Geneva's planning and zoning folks control that's not inside their city limits. But it allows them to exercise more of a buffer area from a zoning perspective between county zoning and the zoning that takes place, and planning and zoning that takes place inside of the city limits. City of Decatur does not have one, a buffer or a fringe area, a defined fringe area. And so I think they're probably going to be going through the process of identifying a fringe area and creating a fringe area. And it was just mentioned at the time, maybe the town of Monroe might like to think about that as well. So it may be,
I got a question when you're done.
okay, it may be, if you guys are at all interested, I would ask your attorney maybe to help you understand what it means and how it would work and if it would be beneficial to you. But I think probably over the next 6 to 12 months, that's going to become a pretty hot topic in the county as both Bern and Geneva try to modify theirs and probably the city of Decatur tries to obtain one. So just maybe something that if you at all would think about, now might be the time for you to begin to think about it and pursue it. Go ahead, Justin.
So, does this fringe area allow you to use that area towards an HMI on grants for Okra?
No.
So what would be the benefit?
The only benefit of fringe jurisdiction, to be fair, and Steve probably knows, I did a lot of the research for the presentation that I was given on Wednesday. Fringe jurisdiction, the whole point of it, the whole benefit to any of the municipalities is that they have more of a say as to how, given the entire land use plan of the county, the county's focus, as has been stated by the commissioners, there's a very rural focus. This gives, rural as well as other focuses, but this at least for the fringe jurisdiction, it gives the municipality of the respective fringe, it gives them more of a say in development decisions. While at the end of the day, the choice will always still rest with the plan commission, and at the end, the commissioners, it gives an extra step to, for instance, the town of Bern to say, this development really needs to happen in the fringe jurisdiction in order to expand the town of Bern, et cetera. It just adds another voice in that.
So does it assist the town, like if somebody wanted to come in and put in large feeding operation or something like that, does it assist the town in trying to?
Trying to say no.
I think that was the best example I heard was, while crop agriculture, at least in, I think the way Bern, it was explained to me, Bern basically has a set of planning and zoning criteria that apply only in the fringe. So it's different than what happens inside the city limits, but it's more close to what the city would want than what the county would allow. There's like that buffer, like
I mean, I was hoping that it was able to let us lean on for some grant assistance.
I don't think so, but the example that I heard was within Bern's ordinances, for instance, a farmer will be able to go ahead and farm right up to the city limits as they always have, but they probably would not be able to come in and put a confined feeding operation right up against the city limits like they could today and still be within planning and zoning as controlled by the county plan commission. So I think it gives you some more control there of what happens right next to your town.
And I misspoke there. That's the big point. Is whenever somebody's requesting a change of zoning in the fringe jurisdiction, the municipality acts basically as the county plan.
They control.
It bypasses the plan commission. So plan commission generally, when there's a change of zoning in the county, they provide a do recommend or a do not recommend, which then goes to the county. The municipality with the respective fringe jurisdiction in this case would be the one doing that instead. To be fair, and I need to look back, this would probably, and it very well might be worthwhile, this would probably also require us to first institute a zoning ordinance in general, because I think, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't been here for that long of a time, I don't think Monroe has its own.
I think you live under the county.
Correct. I think we just abide by the county's zoning at this time, so we would have to implement our own municipal zoning ordinance, which is doable, and very much may be worthwhile.
Does that zoning ordinance, though, if that was something that was instituted, then that means that the county would no longer be there to guide that then, correct?
I think you could still, that's correct. For instance, Mark Wynn probably wouldn't be your.
We wouldn't have a building inspector at that point.
Right. Although, does Mark do that under contract to you? Does he get paid by Town of Monroe to do that?
No, we're solely under the county on building.
Okay.
Building and zoning, but.
Okay.
Because we don't have our own zoning, we're allowed to do that, which we would have to contract with him if we got our own zoning.
It could still be Mark, but you might just have to contract with him privately.
Then it'd have to be, or it'd have to be an interlocal agreement.
Yeah, or something that said we would do that, or by the service.
Okay.
Anyway, just something that just came up that I thought you might want to think about. The time's going to be perfect if you would want to do that over the next 6 to 12 months, probably.
Anybody else? Yes, go ahead.
Name's Brian Kirshner. My mom lives on Monroe Street here in town, and she handed me this little paper that I don't know when this came out, because it's got no date on it, but it reads, to the Monroe residents about stopping people from parking on Monroe Street within 10 feet of the roadway. You guys know anything about this?
I didn't see nothing on. Did you see anything out?
I did, with the approval of council employees.
So here's what's going on. There's been an ordinance in place by the state since 1995 that says no parking within 10 feet of the asphalt from Adams Street to Keller Street.
Right.
There's a huge safety issue at the school crossing. So the other end of this is there's a highway project that's supposed to come through here starting with 2030. They're not going to allow any more parking on the highway. It's going to be done away with. So you can still park in your driveway, but you couldn't park in front of your house along the road. You had to park in your driveway or out back. And the whole reason to do that is, one, one, it's gonna go away, and to improve the safety at the crosswalk, it's kind of been decided that it just needs to start getting enforced now, like it's been let go for the last 20 years or better.
Okay. This doesn't really say much about enforcement on this paper.
There hasn't been nothing set for when it's all gonna start, but everybody will get a copy.
That was my other question, because there's no start date on this.
Yeah. Everybody's gonna get a copy of the ordinance that we were given by the state.
So this is state driven?
It is state driven. Yes, state driven. It's been in place since 1995. It was just never enforced. So with the changes that's coming and the issues, the safety concerns, it's just better that we start getting used to what's gonna change.
Yeah, I was just worried about that, you know, my mother's got a one-car garage. She could fit one car in a driveway without being in violation. And to park anyplace else, it would have to be on another side street, or she's gonna have to tear up her whole backyard, put it in stone. Yeah, that was, you know, I mean, I'm complaining to the wrong people, I can see that now. But that's my reason for bringing it up and asking what's going on.
And it, like I said, the highway project that's gonna happen, they are completely doing away with parking on the street, period. They were gonna put buggy lanes in, they took the buggy lanes out, they made it no parking, and there's gonna be a curb at the edge of the asphalt, there will be a curb. So where the asphalt is now, it will no longer be gravel, it will be sidewalk.
Okay. All right, well, thank you.
Well, if there are no other comments, I would,
Did we need
to adjourn.
Make a motion on this?
If you guys are going to approve it and sign it today, yes.
And sign it, so we make a motion. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve this application.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
What's that for?
That's for the jet.
Here, we need to make a motion to close.
Purchasing the jet and getting the
Oh,
jet.
there's it.
Yeah.
We just had to make a
Oh, yeah.
motion to accept
It's
that.
to be clear, they approved an application for the eligibility to receive federal surplus property, which the surplus property in this case would be an aircraft, hopefully a fighter type aircraft.
We're gonna get a bywing, we got both.
As long as it's got the machine guns on top.
It's moving.